This is not good.
1v1 between
I say
Andreas
this is
and
a
Cake.
I say this is a rehost.
You can't rehost. It's
Oh,
not allowed in the rules. So
he's
it's definitely not a
this
favourable spawn. He probably should have chosen the South Pole if that was an option, because that's how the map's supposed to be played. So we
yeah.
got Andreas in light blue on the north spawn, and Cakeofastxcaptain in the west spawn over there, relative. Cake obviously in a disadvantage point, but he can of course expand to the South Pole once he's scouted it.
He does have that choke point too, so it won't be that hard to defend. He just doesn't have a great expansion. We'll see how he goes with it.
I'm dualcasting with Posidian.
He's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a game between Mered and Cakeofastxcaptain earlier, where Mered sort of hunkered in where Cakeofast is at the moment, and in that sort of wider choke. And he managed to successfully defend there while expanding with air fabbers to the other places, except his opponent had spawned on the south instead of the north, so he claimed all of the North Pole basically, and his opponent didn't expand whatsoever. So we've gone vehicle first from both players, and air second from Andreas.
It really depends on where, if Andreas scouts him, how early on he figures out where he is. Like,
yeah.
I mean, his scout's gonna go to the other pole, and he's gonna instantly know. Okay, he's not here. Where is he? He's got that air factory, so he's gonna find him soon after that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you do go air second, I've been wondering, do you even need the skitters? Because in all of the games I've played where I've done this sort of a build, my Fireflies from the air factory get the scout before the skitters do, and I've just been thinking, is it even worth wasting time building the skitters? Although of course you can sit them at expansions just to make sure for when you build a bot factory in Doc's Harass maybe.
That's what I like him for, is where you sit him there, and the fact that like a map is so small, he's probably not gonna go any air fighters. He's just gonna go straight bomber.
Yeah.
I mean, not any air scouts, but like you kind of realize, yeah, he scouted him.
Yeah, there it is. And in fact, well, unfortunately the fabricators aren't actually all that bunched up, so, well, the scout goes down, unfortunately. Could have saved that a little bit there, but the fabbers aren't bunched up, so he won't get multiple kills. In fact, two of them are getting a little bit close there with the air factory, although moving past.
He could get both of those by the air factory or the vehicle factory if he lines it up right. I don't see that happening.
No, he hasn't got the skitter there, yeah. I'm changing the angle there, actually. No, he just needs to do the wide pass so the commander has a little bit of trouble hitting him. And he should see the AA going up and actually try and take that out, but in fact, he's not taking
the commander's probably going to shoot him on this bet. Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You never really want to fly directly at the commander.
Yeah. He has got 4 fabricators out. Can he support that? Plus the factory is actually producing once he's got them out. In fact, a 5th fabricator going out as well. Blimey, although he
won't be able to support that.
He needs to expand on metal, but he has got enough energy at the moment going up with the commander, but he has to expand. And unfortunately, Andreas just sitting sentry there with all of those hummingbirds around the outside, which is a good plan as well. I believe he cancelled his 3rd bot, which is probably a good call given the entrenched mode of Cake's spawn, because he's not really going to get all that much bot harass before they're actually taken down. And
Cake really should have gone anti-air vehicles and then move some fabricators out to the south and try and got there. But like he's not doing that, so he's not going to be able to expand at all because he's just got locked down with air.
Yeah. In fact, Andreas managed to maintain that little air control there despite the little dogfight. Another one comes out though, he won't be able to survive this one. In fact, Cake's hummingbird there gets away scot-free. However, Andreas is beginning to expand now, and that's what you need to do on this map. And ants are now beginning to roll out onto the field and towards Cake, although ant numbers are relatively even at the moment. And it's only really been that bomber harass, but because of the vast number of fabricators in comparison, it hasn't really done all that much damage, if I'm honest. Rather than a little bit of an annoyance. Oh, that 3rd bot has gone up eventually as well, actually. Curiosity sort of went back on that decision, and that's a lot of vehicle factories queued up. 4, in fact.
Yeah, Cake's eco is just dead in the water. He doesn't have enough metal.
Yeah, he needs to get up more metal, definitely. I'm not entirely sure why he's building power with both fabricators and his commander when he's already sort of, you know, relatively in the green
Floating.
with that one. He needs... it's interesting because it seems as though he's got that one factory just constantly producing fabricators, which I guess I can see where he's coming from, because he doesn't want the bombers to just take all of his fabricators out and then just sort of forget that he doesn't have any fabricators left. But at the same time, his fabricators are now really bunched up in all of what they're doing, and they're not expanding as fast as they really should be doing. In fact, what Andreas could be doing now is actually realizing, you know, I've entrenched this guy, he's not really doing all that much with regards to the air at the moment. I could probably sneak out a couple of air fabbers and go and expand to the eastern expansions now, actually.
It'd be definitely a good idea to set up at least some factories on the other side, just to keep him blocked in there.
Yeah, definitely get down to that South Pole expansion. There is that skitter there that's not really expanding, though, scouting to see whether Cake is actually expanding down there. Probably could be using that skitter to better effect.
Yeah. I mean, if that skitter where it's sitting now does see him, it's already after he's gotten all that metal. So, like, it's kind of defeating the purpose.
Although at least what it is doing there is sort of guarding that lane up, if you will. But it could be doing more, as we say. Clump of vehicles now moving out from Cake. A good amount of 10, 11 vehicles there. There we go, now it's moving in a bit. As if by magic. So, 5 vehicle factories now producing ants constantly from Andreas. Perhaps he needs to do a little bit of scouting just to make sure that there aren't any bombers, because he hasn't really scouted recently to see that there isn't any bomber production, just in case. It's rather lucky that he doesn't need to build any spinners at this point.
I can't believe Cake is trying to put his T2 factory right there on the front, right at the choke point. He does have a lot of health, but like...
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have much other space to put it, but he really needs to move his commander over there and get some walls up, I think. Because that's just not going to work for him, unfortunately. What Andreas could think about doing is moving to T2 air, actually, and there's the air fabber coming out. We might actually see the T2 air coming out now that we've got...
He did go T2 air last game, so he probably will this game.
Yeah. They're on the move. Probably... oh, they're expanding to the South Pole. Good news. However, there are those vehicles there, so they will get the scout. And we're preparing for the engagement now between Andreas and Cake on this little choke here. In fact, if he moves in now, he'll probably manage to make a reasonable impression. There are the bumblebees there, so once those are revealed, he'll probably factor in a few spinners. Although at the moment he does have enough hummingbirds that he can probably deal with this without too much of a worry. Up they come now. Those two
bombers could have done a lot better. Better off attacking that army.
Yeah, I think they killed what, one ant.
One tank. One or two, but like they could have killed 10 or 12.
Large push coming in now at the choke. So it's curious that Andreas is managing, not Andreas, sorry, Cake is managing to sort of hold his own at this point, although he isn't really doing too much damage to Andreas, just because that vehicle factory is just such a tank when it comes to HP.
Just a distraction as well.
Yeah, isn't it like 90,000 or something like that it's been bumped to?
Something insane.
But these vehicles are now in the base now. I'll put the picture in picture so that you can see the icons from above while we do dynamic camera in the main.
They're just sitting there. He's not really moving them in. Doesn't really have to.
Yeah, I mean he could maybe you know, sort of wander around and see if he can pick off a few fabbers, but the commander's in now, so it's over for that little engagement force.
It really helped him, though, because he did get rid of most of the units that Cake did have defending his base, and the next attack is not going to fare so well for Cake.
Yeah, definitely not.
T2 air is up for Andreas, and he is making T2 bombers, so not going to fare well. This game's pretty much over.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see how he's going to come back from this.
I mean, I think it was pretty much over the moment Andreas started expanding and Cake didn't. Because, I mean, Cake has been in the red for metal this entire game.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
There's, in fact, he's moving his units back now to engage Andreas in this little thing now. He's actually going to see scout these little vehicle factory proxy base going up and think, oh dear, I think I might have neglected the rest of the planet.
Yeah.
But, one thing about Andreas at the moment, though, those Hornets, they're produced and left undefended. No, if Cake had been sort of switched on and scouting and whatnot, he could be sending some hummingbirds over and around all of the AA patrols from Andreas and just snipe those Hornets and make their cost and time for
This is the reason I like doing circle patrols with my air units, because they will engage outside the circle, and you know exactly where your air defense is going to be the strongest, which is around the outside of your base.
Yeah, I've definitely started doing that as well. Now that I've started getting a bit more used to the hotkeys.
I don't see any anti-air vehicles from Andreas. Those would definitely help out with these bombers that are harassing him, but the only distance need to ruin his fighters.
Yeah, he does need. I mean, he could probably start producing them from the vehicle factories that are on that proxy base, if I'm honest. But he could, even if at a stretch, move in his own hummingbirds. But of course, Cake also has hummingbirds to deal with it.
Right on cue, they all moved in, and here was the T2 bombers.
Lagged out.
These 5 T2 bombers will probably kill his commander in about 3 seconds. They know where he is.
Yeah, it's just a case
his
of
AA away from it.
Unfortunately, I'm beginning to lag a little bit, curiously enough, but...
Is it stalling lag? Like it just stops and then goes, and then stops and goes?
Yeah.
It might be your bandwidth. This game is really demanding on upload and download. Like, I found the streaming sometimes, like, it just does that because I'm using it all.
Well, there goes the commander. Andreas claims the win. GG's are called. Shows the power of T2 air again. Thanks for watching, folks. More PN on the way very soon indeed. Hope you liked it. Don't forget to drop any likes or comments or feedback. And subscribe for more PN on the way very soon. Thanks again for watching. And as always, have a nice day.